Remember when we went to the Big Four? You were there. We were there together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you guys go?
I didn't.
It was just me in this group.
All right. So Eric, me, Rob, we made the smart choice as older men to buy the VIP ticket and be up front for the Big Four and not be among the populace in the back of the. We were in the
people.
Yankee Stadium.
Well, we were on the floor, but we were in the VIP floor, which was like right in front of the stage.
But like we were 30 feet from the stage at all times.
Right,
Anyway,
you could get up to the front, and it.
So one of the funniest.
I'll let Greg tell this story
of this show is, and there's video of this you could watch because it was one
the
of
Anthrax thing.
No, like when Anthrax plays. Anthrax is the first band to play. And they come out, and then like when they're doing Indians, there's a big circle pit going on.
Yeah, they stop the song, and Scott's like, "We need to see that circle pit." Yeah,
and so everybody in the there's like a huge violent pit going on behind us, behind the barricade of all like the young people.
That's general admission floor,
and like they're just like
us.
This is happening, and then our pit, like where we are, is the old over 40 guys, and like they're definitely working at. There's a guy doing this, like,
but I mean, it's 15 seconds of fury, and then
it's like holding their back and holding their stomach. Yeah. And so our Kent was with us, and he's like, "Dude, these guys just didn't do the cardio to get ready for this thing."
It was like the pit was really scary for like the first 15 seconds of the song, and then everybody was just laying out.
But by the time it got to Metallica, the pit in the VIP section was such like just like the weakest pit there could possibly be. It was so lame. But that's where I am, huh?
I wouldn't want to.
Maybe that's why they won't do that anymore. Metallica won't do another big. Well, Slayer's done, but even so, like they won't do another. So
this was a Yankee Stadium, and
Slayer was done when we saw them. They still make Stadium.
Wait, who played first?
It was Anthrax.
Then Megadeth.
Yeah, so they're in New York, and they make Anthrax start the show. I think that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, I agree.
But I mean,
especially since they're probably my second favorite.
You're going to put Megadeth ahead of Anthrax.
I would not put them on the fucking show. But...
Oh, I beg to differ.
You know what?
They were Rob and I went. I know, Eric, I think you went and took a dump during Megadeth.
No, I went and met Anthrax is what I was going to do.
But Rob and I were definitely there to hate Megadeth. Like we were like ready to have the thumbs down, and then Chris Broderick came out and won our heart.
Unbelievable.
And Mustaine. My cousin works for the company that books Metallica, and he told us, he's like, I don't know if Mustaine's coming or not because he's got like a serious neck injury and he may not even show up.
Yeah,
so he came out and he was in obvious pain through the whole thing, and he soldiered through it. And their set was great, and like they killed it. I went from hating them to like I went and bought all their albums when I left that.
They were way better than Slayer. I thought phoned it in. I thought Anthrax was incredible. And
Anthrax are always great.
And they just, I mean, it was such their show because it was in New York.
Yeah.
Slayer was disappointing and Metallica was amazing. So I don't know how I'd rank. I mean, Metallica, just because of the spectacle of the whole thing, probably was the best.
I think when Metallica came out, they had like a completely different PA. The whole thing went like from like here to like up there.
That's about right.
Like I wonder if Metallica's going to be any good. Like holy crap! Like this is a whole different show. I still have the board recording from that show. Rob bought it after. It is it's like my favorite recording of them. Amazing.
Yeah, that's really good.
All right, this has nothing to do with Clutch. We should be talking about Clutch now.
I could if I wanted to. I have one of the black balls that came out of the end where they just. I grabbed one of those. I have it right behind.
I am so glad that we went to that show. Yeah. Like that is one of the all-time best shows I've ever seen ever.
Yep.
That was 2011, which was the best year of concerts because I saw that, and then in December I saw them on the 30th anniversary at the Fillmore in San Francisco with Tim. Tim went to all 4 nights. I went to the first night.
I went to all 4
that same year. So like that year is, and also saw Deftones and Dillinger Escape Plan one in October that year. So. Amazing.
Yeah, you got to really stop going to concerts after that because you're gone.
Yeah, I know. Like that's the pinnacle at that point.
That's what my wife said. We saw the 30th anniversaries, and she's like, "Well, I'm done with Metallica now. I'm retired from Metallica shows. You can't top that one."
Actually, that is probably a concept for a whole other podcast. Is that Rob and I have this ongoing debate about like, do you give up? Like, like in 2008, we went to see Iron Maiden at Merriweather. Right? It was a Somewhere Back in Time tour. And we were in the exact front row for the whole night. It was, the set list, the same set list as like the World Slavery Tour. I caught a wristband from the bass player, and like we were like jumping up and down the whole time. Like, and after that, Rob's like, "I'm never seeing them again. It's never gonna. There's no way it's possibly going to be this good again."
And I haven't, and I won't.
So do you guys?
That's
I
silly.
made that mistake with Rush. I watched Rush crash right into the ground, and I wish I didn't see maybe the last 3 or.
But do you guys
I saw
agree?
Rush 13, 14 times.
I don't agree.
No,
only because like my favorite bands, I'm going to see them as many times as I can before they retire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, unless it gets to be a comical or just like, okay, this is becoming.
Well, if they become a farce, yeah.
Maiden still puts on a hell of a show. Like, I mean, Joe just went to fucking England to see Maiden, so.
I thought their last tour was great.
Yeah, and the new one.
This set list is even better.
Oh, yeah. But the balance is so like for example, and so this is, I think maybe Rob certainly would disagree with me, but like Van Halen, like the last time, like the Van Halen, when he was alive, obviously, when they came around last time, Dave, he was definitely like he could not sing at all. It was he was awful.
I remember videos of that. Yeah,
but I and like nobody would go with me. I went alone. I'm like, I have to go because I cannot not see Eddie Van Halen. But the show was like Dave Lee Roth, was a shell of himself.
When was that? Because when we saw them in 2007, they were pretty good.
It was 2 tours past that because
like
they
2015 or something like that.
Jeez,
whatever the last tour they did, it was all like a B-sides tour. It was a bunch of different like collection of songs.
Okay.
But the point was like I went because I wanted to see Eddie, right?
Yeah.
But like, following like sort of, maybe I should have capped off seeing them after the first David Lee Roth reunion show, or maybe after I saw them at Monsters of Rock or something. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's a tough choice.
Yeah. I mean, that's Eddie Van Halen is something like, even if the show sucked, you still have to go see that guy.
Well, I mean, like, wouldn't it be worth to see Metallica anytime Metallica's going to play ever, forever? I mean,
for me, yes. For me, yes.
Unless it becomes like a Motley Crue situation where, like, like
it will.
Vince Neil,
and it will. So
I don't think it will with Metallica.
Not with Metallica. I
don't think Metallica will. I think they'll know.
I can't see James coming out and singing as poorly as Vince Neil has been singing lately.
I think they'll.
I think they would recognize it themselves. It sounds that bad.
I don't think they're going to play the pre-recorded tracks like Motley Crue does.
No, I think there's enough integrity there. They wouldn't do that.
All right, so the last part of this concept before we jump to Clutch is, because I'm just interested in you guys' opinion on this, is so I've, as an older man now, and I'm older than you guys, but you guys are still old, is
I don't think you're older than me. Or are you?
What I mean by that,
you're older than Victory Records
as old
guy.
as Tony Victory.
Well, I mean, he was 100 years old when I met him. Is
100-year-old?
Did you actually meet him? Maybe you met a double. Maybe it was his dad.
Maybe it was his dad.
Actually, his dad might have been there. So anyway, I used to have this other hard line where, like, band will put out a new album, and I'd be like, this just, I'm not buying it. It's not as good as the old album, or it's not like it ever. And like, so my concept of that has changed dramatically in the last few years. And like, so like the new Metallica album came out, and like, there's obviously people on Instagram that hate it, and people on YouTube that hate it. But to me, and like the same thing with the new Iron Maiden album, whatever, is I'm deciding that like any new Iron Maiden, any new Metallica is better than no new Iron Maiden and no new Metallica. And I'm going to listen to it.
Agreed.
And I'm going to give it like, maybe I'm not going to love it as much as this stuff, but I love those guys and I love that sound. So anything that I can get of that is worth listening to. So the new Metallica album, I think if you were to, like, my nickel review of it is like, it's not the Black Album. It's not, Masters of Puppets. Maybe it is like a loose collection of riffs, but it's pretty darn good. I mean, it's definitely better than some of the other stuff that's out there, and it's better than no new Metallica. And I would definitely put it on and play it loud, and I'd love to go see it perform live.
Yeah. I think, 100%. We've gotten to the point now where, of course, they're never going to top their best albums. We all know that. Like, they're not going to put out a Master of Puppets Part 2. It's not going to happen. So I agree with you. Like, it may not be the best album they've ever put out, but it's a damn good album. I mean, it's a really good album.
It's about as good as you can expect at this age.
The other corollary to that, though, is I'm going to throw this out there, is that you never know. And this is just the other one. Like, is the band done, and I'm just going to tolerate them, which I'm thinking of some of these. Worship music by Anthems.
I was just gonna say that.
Oh yeah,
out of nowhere,
comes out.
That's one of their best.
I mean,
I would say it's. I would even. I even think it might be their best album. I will say it.
Crazy.
You can make an argument that it's
my second favorite
because it fits Joey Belladonna's voice.
their favorite.
Yeah,
because Joey Belladonna is singing in his actual singing range.
The songwriting is still when Scotty M played with the Damned Things or whatever it was, and played with that dude from Fall Out Boy, and learned how to write poppy like metal. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like they're very digestible, like really awesome, very short, really great metal songs.
Well, Charlie writes a lot of the music, actually. I don't know how much Scott wrote on that album, but Charlie.
I guess I should look, but I mean that record, I love it. I mean, it's definitely one of their best. I wouldn't say it's their best record because there's so much,
I'd rank it 3. I think Among the Living, Sound of White Noise is probably my second favorite, actually. And
no kidding, wow.
Yeah, and then
it's a great album. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, but coming out with an album that good, that late in your career.
Oh yeah,
the last two Anthrax albums are 2 of my favorite.
Yeah, no, they're
all Kings really good too.
But it's not not common. I mean,
wait, so I'm going to bring it back. But bringing it back to Metallica though is aside from the so I like the songs on their last few albums, but what I also love more than the songs is this album and the album before it have the production value of these 2 albums. To me is like what I view in my head that Metallica needs to sound like. So I remember listening to like Hardwired when it came out. I'm like, I don't know if I really like this song this much, but I cannot stop listening to the sound of the drums and the sound of all these guys playing together because it just sounds perfect to me. It's just perfect. And this new album was like that. Like
Atlas Rise. I mean, it just sounds great.
So Spit Out the Bone is like the best song they wrote in 20 years.
Well, anyway, so maybe we're really segueing on this, but I just want to say that's a good.
I have a way to bring it back. Don't worry.
But that's a much different takeaway than like if you were to put like high school Greg, like Metallica after this album, no way. Like now, like this one, like
that's your brother.
I mean, listen, you idiot, listen to the production value of this because it is killer. Every song is killer. Sounds perfect, and it sounds like it's supposed to sound too. Like the same thing with guitar solos could be more technical. Vocals could be a higher and different register, but this is the sound. I want to hear Metallica sounding like this, exactly like in this register. And it's perfect for me. So old me, I'm going to take it every time.
Yeah. Well, it's 3 out of 4 of the guys that played on Kill 'Em All. I mean, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah. My segue is, if you want to talk about a band that's still writing good stuff late in their career, there's a band called Clutch. And their last 2 albums have been very, very good. In fact, Book of Bad Decisions is up there for me as one of my favorites.
I mean, seriously, how many bad albums do they have? Do they?
They have a few. They went through a period. Period from like 2011 to.
Before we get into their discography, can you guys just tell me like because Rob and I were not into Clutch. So how did you guys even get into Clutch?
Okay, so can I tell the story, Tim?
Someone should tell it.
Okay,
a young Jedi named Darth Vader. Yeah, you can tell the story.
We went to
story time with Eric.
We went to see Voivod of all bands in 1993.
Another band who keeps putting out good stuff.
Yeah, and
really,
and the opening band. I don't think we'd heard of them. I don't think we'd heard from. I know our friend Seth listened to Clutch a lot, but I don't think we'd heard them yet. And we got there and we saw the opening band, and once we heard the song "Binge and Purge," which is on this album,
that's a great song.
We were like, holy shit.
They got about halfway through when
they got to that, come on motherfucker. We're like, oh my god,
what's happening right now?
Yeah, exactly. So that opened our eyes to this band big time. And we didn't even know at the time that they were a local band. Like we didn't know they were from Maryland.
Didn't know who this band was.
Not a clue. So I think that, and then we have a friend Seth Lake who was into some bands, and he was really into them. And but yeah, it just took off from there. Like we just started following them from that point on. And we saw them in '94 open up for Sepultura, which is funny enough. So but yeah,
I mean because I didn't know. I think Rob and I think the first time we learned about Clutch, at least for me, my memory is we wound up we opened for Super Diamond at the 930 Club, and when we were there, we made friends with the people that were the sound guys. Gus, he just died, the sound guy, and they were all super friendly and nice. And I was asking when we were, and then there's so much downtime when you're playing music, so I asked a few of either like the sound guy, the lighting guy, and like different security guys, like we were talking about the history of the club and shows they've seen, and I asked them all like, and we also after that we came back, we played at a wedding for the sound guy, the ticket manager,
guy,
Yeah, so we wound up doing a wedding there, and we wound up interacting with the same people again. So it was either one of these two times. I wound up sitting in a room where we're waiting around for something to happen, and I asked all of them, "What was the best band you've ever seen play at the 930 Club?" And to a person, literally to a person,
the whole room. I think I remember that.
Everybody's like, Clutch. Every single person
amazing
said
live
Clutch.
Band. They are
Nobody,
really
no one did
totally
not say
right.
Clutch. And Rob and I are like, we should listen to this.
It was really weird because how many bands have played in that club, and
oh my god,
and all these people who work there, who've been there, some of them have been
like
there
the week
ever.
Yeah.
Thousands of shows.
Clutch.
When we played the wedding, like the Cult played there the night before we played there, and like, was it the Cult? Like, nope, it was Clutch. Everybody was like, Clutch.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like Greg said, there wasn't even like a let me think about
No, it was Clutch. Like they were like, oh,
it was like they had rehearsed that question, and the dudes from Clutch paid them a bunch of money.
Maybe they did.
I mean, it was striking. It was striking to me. Out of all the places we played, to see that much of like allegiance to a one band, and a band that's not a band that like because we were expecting like them to say of the Foo Fighters or something like that, and like nope, Clutch. Like
what year was that?
God, I don't. It would have been
like 2011.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
we were very late. I mean, I think I had heard some of their stuff before, but honestly, did not even get on the radar for me until that conversation. Really, I was like, "Geez, whoa, got to go back."
And then sometime after that, they had a song that was in an episode of Walking Dead that I'm like, "Who is this?"
Oh, that one. Yeah,
they played it. I think it was Regulator.
I think it was Regulator.
And it was awesome.
Yeah.
So anyway, after that though, we're like, well, we have to listen to Clutch now. So
yeah.
Anyway,
That's
I
probably their best album.
I can't believe it. So it was just I've never had. It's very rare. Like you guys are music guys, where someone will tell you something about a band that you've never heard of at all. Like Rob and I were like, I can't believe I've never heard of this band that you all love. It was so cognitive dissonance.
Yeah. Well,
But
they're like heroes of that area, like the whole DC.
Yeah.
Like so.
Well, they just played it at Atlantis, I think, last week, and I saw a clip of them dedicating a song to the guy from the Gus from the 930 Club who just died from cancer earlier this year. And,
it was.
And they said that he mixed their very first show, and so they're really tight with that whole group.
Yeah, it was the anthem they played.
Neil worked at the 930 Club, the old one. He was one of the bouncers.
Oh, did he? Okay.
So yes,
yeah. Okay.
So that might be a little bit of the tie-in, but definitely anybody who was working there in 2011, didn't know him from those days.
True. Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't Tommy Victor talk about Neil? Like they had a.
Craig LaCicero did.
I thought Tommy Victor did too. When
I don't know. I don't remember that.
I thought there was something to do when they played at CBGB's or something, and maybe I'm mixing up stores. I don't know.
Maybe.
I was hoping it would jog somebody's memory, but maybe.
Another tie into the show, Aftab, my friend Aftab, who was joining us for the industrial version of the show.
Mm-hmm.
He went to high school at the same high school that John Paul, the drummer, went to.
Oh, okay.
I think there was a little overlap, as like he was a freshman when John Paul was a senior, but
yeah. Well, let's play a little bit of this, and then we'll introduce the band. Well, I mean, the opening track is awesome, so. Yeah, so this is, let's see, Neil Fallon on vocals. You got Tim Sult on guitar, Dan Mayonnaise on bass, and Jean-Paul Gaster on drums. And this was produced, also another album that was produced by two people, apparently. Jonathan Burnside and Stephen Hagler. Hadn't heard of either of these guys, so I don't know what else they've done. But, I mean, it sounds good, overall, production.
Yeah. Sounds really good. It doesn't sound like really anything after this either.
Well, no, I mean, they changed their own. Yeah, I mean, that was them changing things for themselves. So,
well, yeah, I guess it sounds a little bit like their EP, the Impetus EP.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
But
better. It sounds better than that. But yeah. This
I don't know. I mean, I do not have a copy of what the hell is the name of the Pitchfork, the 7-inch with Juggernaut on it. But I mean, that is, God damn it, Juggernaut! You can't beat that fucking song.
Oh, Impetus song too.
Yeah,
but yeah, they, as good as this one sounds, it doesn't. That they found their own sound. I'd say the next album really on it, and then on, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
Yes,
for sure. Yeah.
It almost sounds like a different band, almost.
Yes, exactly. There's so much more blues and let's face it, they definitely started indulging in certain.
Well, I think they probably are.
Yeah, they already were, but they definitely, I think, kind of took a swan dive into it after this album.
You mean like Space Grass? I don't know what you're talking
about. Yeah.
Let's see what else they've produced.
This album is so angry, and they never went. This is the only album that's particularly angry. The rest of their stuff is not.
I would definitely say, at this time, they're still young, and they're still, and that, maybe as they, got not too much older, realized, hey,
let's chill out.
Maybe I mean, that's another thing. Like,
Do we need to be this angry all the time?
Back, it was '96, the Super Bowl of Hardcore. Back in the DC region, every January, there was a club called the Capitol Ballroom. Have the Super Bowl of Hardcore, and every year, Agnostic Front, I think, played it every goddamn time. The second time, like in '98, Dropkick Murphys closed it. But I saw Warzone, I saw Tree there, Bad Luck 13 played most of the time, but one way or another, it was all these massive fucking hardcore bands that are all like we were talking about with Snapcase, that the front of that pit, it's not a pit, it's just like just a stomping ground of like this massive humanity all climbing on top of each other, screaming into the microphone that the lead singer is doing, and it was just it's brutality, like it's greatest. And all of a sudden, all of these hardcore bands are playing. I remember, I think 25 to Life, Rick to Life's band was the closing band leading into Clutch, was closing the show. And it was so hilarious to just watch all the skinheads all like walk out the front door. And then all of a sudden, all these guys, it's '96. So everyone's wearing like their lab coats and they're like, alien kind of gear and glasses. And I'm like, wow, this is weird. And like we start like lining up and they start playing, and we're like, fuck yeah. And this guy's just like, oh my God, man, Clutch, man, I saw it in a pit. And I'm like, dude, you weren't here like an hour ago, were you? You would have seen like a brutality you've never comprehended right over there, and you're now talking up like Clutch like it's like this brutality fest, and it's like no, you need to calm down. And but Clutch closed like one of the first Super Bowls of hardcore, and it was hilarious to see the contrast. But,
in '96, they're not a hardcore band in '96.
No, this was after. After the self-titled came out, so
yeah.
This band, like I said, immediately I was into them.
Well, and right away.
For me, how I got into them, I don't know if you guys can see this. You probably can't.
No,
recognize the handwriting, Joe?
It's a tape.
We can't see it.
It is.
Is that a COVID test or a pregnancy test?
Can you take it out of the case?
Oh, okay, nice.
This is
that mine?
Dub tape that Joe here made for me of this band. Back in high school, he would always be like, "Man, you need to hear this, guys." So he made this for me, and that is my copy of this album. That
I produced that.
But this is another one of those times. Like he handed this to me, and this band has never ever left my like continuous rotation ever since he introduced it.
That's actually that whole like getting that tape to me reminds me of a time that's again, an old guy thing. A sad thing that's gone now is I have so many visceral young memories of somebody coming over to my house with a tape or like a vinyl record or even a CD, being like, "Dude, listen to this right now." And like just like slapping it on. Like the first person to go and buy it. Like now you could just like Rob will send me. I mean, we send each other their links all the time, but it's just not the same of like somebody being So like
we reminisce. We reminisce about that a lot. With
it's
record stores. You didn't know what you were going to find.
Yeah. I missed those times.
First time we heard Slipknot.
Yeah,
kind of like that.
Yeah,
the first album, we were like,
that was probably one of the last times that happened too.
Probably because that was '99. Yeah, I was like, what is that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's active versus passive listening. Some of the links Greg will send me, like I'll forget. I won't even listen to it for like 2 days. And when you brought it over to someone's house and put it in their hands or put it in their tape deck or put it on their stereo, like, there's no internet, there's no whatever. You're just this is the thing I'm listening to, and we're doing this right now. And you would just sit there and listen and digest the music. And that's something that very few people do now.
Yeah, flip through the lyric sheet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Look at the artwork. Yeah.
Smell it.
Yeah.
I had to smell the tapes in the book. I don't know why.
I had to do that.
I had 2 older brothers, so it was Tim and Steve who always were the ones that were like, making me a copy of the tape.
Don't you have 3 older brothers?
No, I have 2 older brothers, 1 older sister, and 2 younger brothers.
Yeah. Yes.
But it was always Tim like would give me the copy of the tape, or we'd listen to it obviously together in his room or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, it was always no experience like that exists anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, so I mean, just going back to the Snapcase thing, like that is the time. I think Looking Glass Up was also on the CD thing, but like those music, like a lot of the hardcore stuff was. I have the vinyl 7-inch. I got it. Like it's on yellow vinyl. Let's go listen to it. Like it's a thing that is like only in my possession right now. We'll listen to it together. I miss those times.
Yeah.
I think that's a big reason for like. I don't know, maybe it's not. For me, at least, for collecting all these vinyl albums now, it's like it's like you said, visceral. It's a physical piece of art or media, and you can't really skip around on the record. You're gonna fucking play at least half the record every time you put it on. Really.
Yeah.
I think that just an older guy thing. Like I've been getting into more like mindfulness and meditation as I've been getting older, and trying to find ways to like be in the present. And so one of the downsides of like online music and the availability is like, to me, music has become very much like a background thing. Like I work, I listen to music on my iPod or iPhone all day long. But if I come home and now I have my old school, like I have my college record player back here, and I have my vinyl records, like I actually come and sit in my music room and put on a record. And like the act of doing that puts me in a completely different headspace.
Oh yeah.
And then but then I find when I'm listening to something, as opposed to like if I'm listening to something through my earphones from my iPhone, like if I'm listening to my vinyl records, I cannot do anything but listen to the record.
Yeah.
And so I'm always looking for those types of things. And so I think it's sad to me that like my kids have no connection with that. Like for us, like I think that's one of the getting back to it is like when I buy a vinyl record, to me, like I'm getting back to those things, and like I'm connecting with it that way.
That is why my daughter has a turntable.
Yeah.
And
well,
records.
I think, and this is veering off topic drastically, but I think that you see all these people on YouTube doing like reaction videos. Oh, nice, beautiful.
We're not talking about them.
But I think
I have the German one.
I'm just showing you what's on my turntable right now.
I just want to interject. What you are watching is the equivalent of Greg wanking on a guitar during practice. He tries to get you any way he can. So he'll start playing Van Halen and I'll jump in, and then all of a sudden we're not doing shit that we're supposed to be doing. So Settle Church record is, hey, you're talking about Clutch, but Metal Church right here.
Back to Clutch. Sorry, I apologize.
Thank you, Greg, for your incredible insight. Anyway, I'm just pointing out that we've been knowing each other forever. And
that's fine. I was just gonna say that there's a lot of popular reaction people on YouTube. Like their whole thing on YouTube is they're just reacting to music like that they've never heard before. I think the reason for that is because what you're just saying. Like we like to remember those times of hearing music for the first time and that feeling of it. So. Because you'll see a lot of, like, there's these guys called Lost in Vegas. You guys probably see them. Like, they're rap guys, but they listen to metal stuff, right? And it's like, they're getting into metal. So it's them actually, like, getting into metal. Like, they're enjoying the stuff. And you're getting to watch someone actually get into metal for the first time. So it's, bringing back those feelings of when you first started getting into metal, so.
All right. So before we go back to Clutch, one other segue, just last one. is that so for our cover band, Rob and I
was gonna say the same thing. This is
we've been trying to we're working at a new singer. Like after 10 years of looking for a singer, we found a guy who like we all can work with, who's really talented, who's a great singer, but he's young. Like he might not even be 30 years old.
I think he's 29.
So we were talking to him about Dio, and he had never heard Black Sabbath.
Never heard Mob Rules.
So Rob said, listen, download this on your phone right now and listen to it in the car on the way home, and then report back tomorrow.
Well, we said the same thing, and this is exactly going back to Clutch. Is like, I'm so jealous of what you are about to do.
Yeah,
like you are gonna drive home and you're gonna listen to one of my favorite Dio records of all time for the first time.
Yeah,
and like, what do you remember what that felt like? And like with Clutch, it was the same thing. It's like all these people at the 930 going. Clutch. Yeah. It's like, holy shit, I'm going to put on something that all these people just cannot get enough of.
Yeah.
And that it's really hard to, I was so jealous of, I'm like, you are going to just like drive for the next 45 minutes. I can't even imagine what it's going to be like.
Yeah.
So with that, I mean, he probably had, his reaction was, I can't believe I've never heard this, which is similar to like when Rob and I are like, okay, we put Clutch on. I'm like, well, we screwed up. We should have listened to this.
Totally.
Same thing with like, another similar band that we didn't. I mean, I don't know if you guys like this band, but like Badlands with Jakey Lee was a band that like I completely blew off when we were in high school, which is an amazing band. Like I put that album on, Dreams in the Dark, amazing. Well, can't believe I didn't listen to it.
Speaking of Dio, like I never listened to Rainbow, and I got into their stuff like more recently.
Rainbow with Richie Blackmore.
Long live rock and roll. The first time you listen to that, it's like the skies open up. I mean,
it's great stuff. Like I just never got into it for whatever reason. I just didn't.
Well, to be fair, like until very recently, probably whenever we talked about not Mob Rules, the first Dio album with Heaven and Hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really the first time I properly listened to a Dio Sabbath album, because I was always so like the original Ozzy albums. Those are the only real Sabbath, and they sounded so different. And then we were listening for this like boning up for the podcast, and I was like, holy fuck, this stuff is really fucking. I mean, I knew who Dio was obviously, and I heard some of the songs, but and those two albums now are two of my favorite Sabbath albums. Like,
yeah, for sure. I mean, Greg and I had the benefit of having a friend who had an older brother who was a nerd, obviously, because he hung out with us sometimes, which I was like, we never really thought it was weird that a guy 4 years older than us would hang out with us. But like without that guy, there's no Rainbow, there's no Deep Purple, there's no Thin Lizzy, there's no Sabbath. I mean, I got so much from that dude, and like, I would love. He's 80 years old now, Greg. He's probably like almost 60, I would say. Well, he's 4 years old. He's 56, 57. And if I saw him, wherever he's working, I'd be like, because of you, I got all these bands that have been so important to me. And I don't know when, if you're going to find them eventually, but like, like Joe was just saying, like, how could it have been 10 years ago? I mean, who knows, so to have
it's so much different. It's so much different doing it when you're 13 years old than doing it when you're 43.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, plus,
are we still talking about music?
Then.
What's going on?
Well, there was no internet, so it felt really special when you found this stuff, because you didn't know how many people actually.
Yep.
Are there 10 million people like this, or are there 10 people who like this? It's like,
but so like for us, though, like the introduction to Clutch, though, I mean, there definitely was an internet when we met these people at 930 Club, but like I just did not know about this band, and then to have somebody say like, hey, here's 10 people in a room who are like everyone's telling you this is the best band I've ever seen live ever in my life at this place. And we're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot.
Just amazing. I mean, just amazing. It was like that was my heaven and hell moment or whatever. It's like, oh my God, I get to go listen to these.
Oh, you looked at each other like, what's wrong with us? Like, why don't we know this?
Yeah.
Well, we can't.
I'm guessing Clutch brings something a little bit extra when they play 930.
Well,
they're probably pumped up.
Being local, they've played there a lot more times. So I mean, I'm pretty sure every single time isn't,
that's like home field advantage almost.
Exactly.
Just like we're in our backyard. This feels like home, and we're just going to kick ass, and it probably shows.
Well, those people that told us that had lots of other choices, and they picked that one. Yeah. So it's a good choice, though. And so I listened to them. I listened to this album. Can't deny it's pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, I mean, it's. So have you, just to kind of dive into that a little bit. Have you listened to more of their, like, what was when they told you, okay, in 2011 they said the best band we ever heard is, seen live is Clutch. Like, what was the first album you went to? Do you remember it all? Like,
I probably went to Spotify and listened to the top 5 songs that were on there. And then when I heard it in that walk, because I was walking, that's before I gave up on Walking Dead. When they were in an episode, I just like, this song's amazing. Okay, now I got to go dive deeper.
Well, that's on Blast Timer, right? So that's could be their second.
That's my favorite album.
I think that's my favorite.
That's my favorite album by them.
Eric, which one
I think I still like the self-titled best, but
that's my second.
Wasn't there like a live? Didn't they have like a night live at the 9:30 or something?
Yeah.
I definitely went and watched, and they played like a bunch of old stuff in that, and where I think I went first.
Yeah, they tend to do that. They'll give people the locals a little bit extra stuff than they would other shows. So, but because they don't typically play a lot on this album. Like I was going through this album recently, looking at songs that they play live, and there's only a couple that they really still do live on a regular basis. I think they still do Rats.
Still Rats a lot, yeah.
But we've learned about how they do their set lists. So allegedly.
How they change them up like almost every show. Like
they let every band member, like they rotate who picks the set list.
Oh, that's cool.
Each night, so you never really know what you're gonna get, which is cool. Compare that to a Metallica or Iron Maiden play the same fucking thing
for the entire tour. Yeah,
well,
tour.
Not this tour for Metallica. They're doing
well, that's true. That's true, but I mean,
typically you're right though. Typically, yeah.
And I get why you'd want to, but at the same time, I think it's cooler that a band that just pulls out whatever at any given show.
Yeah, another band that does that is Fish, and when expected.
Oh my lord, are we talking about that? Please, I'm leaving right now.
That's a nice piece of shit.
There are some places I will not go.
No.
Yeah. Hey, I was in college in the 90s. It was against the law to not be a Fish fan, so
I think though, like for a big show like a Metallica, like certainly Iron Maiden, like their set list has to be tied to a similar thing in it because of all the production that goes into it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
like if you're a band like the only big bands I think that can rotate their set list dramatically, like when Metallica's doing it deliberately, but like Pearl Jam is a good band. Like they can play a different set. Like Rob and I saw them in New York like about 5 or 6 years ago, and they played a completely different set list 2 nights in a row. And one night they played like an ad hoc Doobie Brothers song just randomly.
Nice.
But that's they're never going to see Metallica's not going to be like, okay, we're going to play some
Merciful
Doobie Brothers
Fate song.
No,
that would be awesome if they did. But
you can't just improvise your pyro. That's kind of dangerous.
No.
We don't want to learn that.
Montreal,
they learned that.
We don't want to do that again.
But for Clutch though, I know obviously the 930 Club loves them, but what kind of venues is Clutch playing outside of DC?
Theaters.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But are they an opener or are they like a?
No, they'll headline theaters. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
they played the Anthem.
Well, they have that festival too.
Yeah, but I'm not counting. You can't count DC because DC is their market. I'm saying when they go to San Francisco or California, where are they playing? Are they playing like the Fillmore or whatever? Are they playing like the stadium?
I would probably say the Fillmore.
Yeah, like a Fillmore size. Yeah.
I was reading a lot of interviews.
Like a Meriwether type size.
Well, I was reading a lot of interviews that Neil was doing in the 90s, and during that time, let's face it, especially the transition in the growth of the band from this into kind of the more, trippy stoner, rock side that they're going right now. But they were playing, with Marilyn Manson. They did a tour where Manson closed. They did a tour where Limp Bizkit closed. I think that was in 97.
Wow.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, if you can imagine.
No, that doesn't work.
But as much as you say that now, Neil was saying, like in the early 2000s, it's just like doing those runs and doing they back in the 90s were pretty much touring almost nonstop. But doing those tours with other major bands, the next time they came through there and whoever they might have been, headlining themselves, but, they weren't playing the same size venue, but they come back to the same town that they played with Limp Bizkit, and voila, they got 200 people showing up just for them because of the previous tours that they did. So they really kind of, I'd say with as much, and not this album, obviously, and we should get back to fucking talking about this album, but one way or another, with how many different blues and just, with how much different influence you could definitely see coming out of the shit that they're writing these days. There's definitely, I think everybody can kind of take a little kind of, feather from the cap and get into it a little bit. And I think from that, just kind of expand. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm just randomly talking. But
got it. Point taken.
Yeah. It's also cool that it's the same 4 guys now that it was on this album.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's really amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, God. Let's face it, and this the same 4 guys that the band started with. We were just talking about Slapcase. Yep. They had a lot of turnover. You look at Metallica. They had, you look at Iron Maiden. I mean, how much turnover did they have before they came up with their first,
like 100.
Yeah, Maiden had like 6 guitar players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, and then, after they got big, obviously they, bounced Paul and whatnot. But one way or another, so many of these bands that, end up with a solid lineup going forward aren't, normally have some transition in their earlier days. This band started off flat out in high school, playing together, and from that has just kind of grown as musicians and, grown as human beings.
Well, you could almost think that, they did get a different singer because Neil's voice on this album is so much different than albums going forward. So
yeah.
Do you think it's like a Phil Anselmo different?
I mean, kind of, because Phil, went from almost Judas Priest, to like, more.
But he goes from like just metal yelling into kind of
he's not full on yelling.
He's like in the later stuff, he's all of a sudden trying to do like a Tom Waits impersonation.
Oh, I love Tom.
Well, I don't think his Tom Waits too. So.
I don't think his voice would have lasted all this time if he kept doing
true.
this.
If you try to do this full time all the time, probably not.
But it wouldn't fit the music they do now either.
Yeah,
but
I can't picture Binge and Purge working well into like a set list anymore. I can't even picture like Neil.
Out,
I can't picture Neil singing it. I mean, you just be like, come on, mother. You know what? We're gonna.
Yeah. It doesn't really
what
work.
about getting stoned?
His onstage demeanor doesn't really reflect anger anymore.
Yeah.
He's kind of a goofball.
Well, I wanted to, I was going to talk about this at some point when we get into the tracks, I guess, but I can just say it now. Like, there's obviously some goofiness in the lyrics, even back on this album.
Oh yeah.
That totally sets
epilogue. I mean,
it sets them apart so much, and I think that's what resonated. Well, because when the 3 of us were in a band together, we kind of we had that like serious heavy metal thrash prong kind of stuff going on, and then we kind of switched. I guess we changed our names. Didn't really matter. We never really.
When we heard this band, we're like, we should do stuff like that.
This jived with our attitude a lot more. So our we got a little sillier with and goofy.
Yeah, we were almost like, wait, you can get away with doing like almost trashy riffs and write goofy lyrics like this. We're gonna do that. That makes a lot more.
We
sense.
were taking stuff out of like weird lines from movies. We were just doing Picard lines and
just inside jokes nobody would fucking
inside jokes. Yeah.
Well, back in my extraordinarily political focused serious punk band, from '93, we never did anything silly.
Laura lives in Chantilly.
Always serious, because politics of it is oral sodomy. You look at the true political statement of oral sodomy. Rob and Greg are just like, what the fuck? Why should we even talk to these assholes?
What are you talking about?
Well, we weren't cool enough to hang out with Clutch, even though they were kind of local.
Yeah,
no,
very local, really.
No.
They were way bigger than we ever got close to. Because I guess we never really played with the shows with anybody super big.
No.
I guess another Silence maybe was probably the
another tie. My friend, God,
your friend. Let's just say your friend.
Yeah, but I mean, God damn it! I called him up to like get advice about my marriage. God damn it, Mike Belt. God damn it. He used to work doors at a number of locations up in Baltimore, and Tim gave him a copy on dub tape of the original demo that they recorded, long before any of this shit, before and gave that to him, and he was talking with Neil and Tim outside, the venue at the front door, and Neil starts like talking like, well, yeah, man, we got to make sure that nobody blah blah gets that or blah blah blah. It's going well, but we don't want anyone to hear it or whatever. And all of a sudden, like Tim and Mike are looking at each other, and Neil's like, Tim, I mean, this is me remembering a story he told me like probably 25 years ago. But just like Tim had to be like, well, I gave him a copy, but unfortunately, Mike lost that tape in a move that he made after he got married. So.
No.
I mean, he held on to that pretty religiously. Unfortunately, it is now in the ether of humanity.
Well, somebody found it and had a good time with it, I'm sure.
Or it just got destroyed.
Yeah, it's probably destroyed, yes. It was a dubbed cassette tape, you got to realize.
Is the album cover worth mentioning? I mean, it's...
Sure.
It really isn't. It's so, like, when you look at it, you're like, I wonder what this album is like, and then you put it on, you're like, I was not expecting that.
Yeah, it could have been any alternative album from the early '90s. It could have been a good
Very true.
From or like the who'd you say, the Refreshments?
Yeah, Refreshments. Yeah.
Replacements.
Replacements. That's it. Well, it could have been the Refreshments.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, he does say I'm a redneck nonetheless on the album.
It does have the classic logo on it.
Yeah, it does have the classic logo. That's true. He's got that lamp is very redneck, and he does say redneck nonetheless.
Oh, and the wood paneling on the walls.
Wood paneling, yeah.
It was like every house in the 70s and 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. We had that for sure.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did too. Oh,
awful. Why was that ever?
I want to feel like I live inside a tree.
I know, it's so bad. God.
Well, make it plastic.
Yeah, make it really cheap that you could break easily. Very classy.
I'll say the musicianship on this album, it's good, but it's not anywhere near where they get. Like the guitar wise, this is probably the easiest stuff that they've written.
I was in a band in the 2007, I guess. We never ended up playing a show, but we did a cover of Juggernaut. And when the lead singer was first kind of putting this thing together, just like, I want to do a Clutch style thing. And I'm like, I can't do that. So we start playing, just like, all right, we'll play Juggernaut. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right. So the guitar player starts playing the thing, and holy shit, is that song easy as hell.
Yeah.
I was so my mind was blown away. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, a lot of the riffs are just like
I could have done this song. Yeah. I could have done this song back in 7th grade, man. This is
Well, this band is never really nothing that they do is I would say technically intricate, at least from the bass standpoint.
I mean, the drummer is
very good.
Yeah, he is
very good.
They do cool stuff, but the bass player is just lays down a bass line.
Yeah. My point was they've gotten a lot better over the years, for sure.
But the music, the thing about Clutch is it has like a groove to it, though.
Yeah.
Like if they're able to take something that is like a very like R&B blues type bass general stuff, make it super heavy, but also like they can take it to like a level of like I don't know, like almost like an indie album type sound, but then like a super heavy sound, but it's never overly complex. Like nobody on a Clutch album is going to be doing sweeps or something like that.
No.
But you wouldn't want to hear that though. Like I mean, I think like they're but I like the way that they their lane works for me.
Yeah, they know what they are.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's what's so impressive about their collection of music is like, it never gets old. Like their stuff is always good. I don't know how they keep putting out albums and like, this is great. Like, I don't get tired of it. It's just all, it's all great.
Would you argue really that going back to Snapcase, like, is this sort of a formative record where you see them sort of growing into what they became later? Or do you guys like where this is?
Some moments
it stands on its own.
There are a couple.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah,
there are a couple moments on this album where it sounds like, okay, that could be on the second album. But but overall, not like 90% is probably nothing like they've done before.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like they're not like growing into their own. They're more like, this is one style we're doing, and then we're going to completely switch it up to a different style.
Yeah. It's like we wrote these songs in high school or something.
Yeah.
It does have
I don't have the backstory enough to be able to place it. I mean, I love the record. I just, is it a question of, well, their next record is even better? I mean, I've listened to probably half a dozen Clutch records over the years, and not all.
Their second album is probably my favorite. So
is that the self-titled one?
Self-titled,
yeah.
That's the one I kind of keep going back to myself.
Yeah, it's very good.
95 that came out, I think. So
yeah, we're like, holy shit, this band grew quickly.
Yeah. And they went through a period, I was saying this earlier, from like, was it like maybe 2009 to like 2013 or something, where they were putting out albums that weren't that great.
Pure Rock Fury was not good.
Pure Rock Fury, 2001. That was the first one that was just like it was so mediocre.
Yeah. Oh, and that was like 99, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's one of my
2001.
2001, yeah.
Like, Immortal is one of my favorite songs of theirs. I love that goddamn song, but that is the only song on that entire album that is,
So
yeah, I don't know. What
it was weird because they did Elephant Riders, which is another good album, and then Pure Rock Fury.
Mm-hmm.
So and that was 98, and then Blast Tyrants 2004. So it was I guess you could say between those years, right?
Wasn't Jam Room? Was Jam Room just
Jam Room's 99?
Which is also kind of like
I don't have a recollection really of anything standing out on that.
I was getting concerned, put it that way.
Yeah, but then Blast Tyrant came out and was like, oh shit.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, good, they're back.
Yeah.
But I was like, I guess they're out of ideas now. But then Blast Tyrant came out, I was like, oh.
Yeah, I think I had my timing off. I think it was more like early 2000s.
Yeah,
because Blast Tyrant's 2004. 4, right? Okay.
And it's been fine after that. Ever since then,
I think so. Yeah.
Well, there was Strange Cousins from the West. That was kind of.
It's not as good as other stuff, but it's still got some solid stuff on it.
They put out so much stuff.
It's still better than
it's hard
Pure Rock Fury.
You just put singles out sometimes.
And Pure Rock Fury, wasn't that like their one major label release?
It might have been.
I think it was, and it's just like, I wonder if
now they have their own label. So
well, now they realize put everything your goddamn self and own the freaking, own your own shit.
Yeah, for sure. We never mentioned that the album title is actually Transnational Speedway League Anthems, Anecdotes and Undeniable Truths is the full title of the album.
So did any of you see them on the tour for this album?
No, I did.
They did. That's where I saw. Yeah, that's where we first saw them when they opened for Voivod. That's where this was 90. It was 93 when we saw them. So they were touring for this album
at the Bayou.
So when you saw them, did you have the album? You saw them and then you went and got the album.
That was our first. That was our exposure to them. Was seeing them live.
Was this a thing that you saw and you're like, holy shit! Like I got to go buy this band's album now.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%.
100%.
Like
that was awesome.
We were there to see the Voivod, and I mean we loved Voivod too, but we were left that concert going, that first band was fucking amazing. Like holy crap!
Did anybody care while they were playing? Was it like or was it like crickets?
God, I can't remember.
I
mean, if it was in DC, I would think they'd.
Yeah, people were into it, especially when they played Binge and Purge. Then it got.
I do remember that. Like when they got to that part of Binge and Purge, there was like a good.
There was like a pit
going on.
Really,
for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Let's play that part right now.
Okay, you don't have to tell me twice.
Yeah, let's
go back to my notes.
Well, it's not just that part; it's that whole.
It's the build
There's a build up. Yeah,
it's so like psychotic the way he's just like, I'm gonna fucking go through all this.
Yeah.
It's just like he's just simmering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's so good. What's that?
Did you guys just walk out of the show and punch out the windshield with this car that you saw?
Remember how, Eric, we were talking about Rollins' anger? That's what you're hearing right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Pissed off.
Yeah. Yeah. God,
Which is so weird because I cannot picture Neil Fallon
I know.
in this
Not
day
now,
and age.
no.
He's such a chill, just like, how y'all doing? You know, just like, so relaxed and like, he's not that guy.
No.
So weird.
I kind of like that guy.
Yeah, that guy's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's other moments like that on this album too, for sure. A lot of them. Yeah.
I mean, that's what like Bacchanal is possibly my favorite Clutch song because it's just
really.
Oh yes,
that's like my least favorite song.
Oh man, I don't know what it was, but it's the lyrics just struck a note with me, and God damn it.
Oh well,
like,
that's that's me
song.
with 12-ounce epilogue. Believe it or not,
because you love soda so much.
Well, in high school I did. That was my breakfast. I would like get a
How do you have teeth?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question.
You had Coke for breakfast?
Pop-Tarts and Coke.
Sometimes in RC.
In high school, not now.
Ooh,
Pop-Tarts? Did you say Pop-Tarts also?
No, not Pop-Tarts. It was literally usually just a Coke out of the fridge, and I walked to the bus stop, and that was it.
God, we were raised on sugar. Shit we used to eat. Good Lord. That's awful.
God, I hated getting up for fucking
How many years
high school.
did you guys work at Pizza Hut?
Well,
like 6 years?
Tim, your breakfast was waffle sandwiches for a long time.
Oh yeah, that was so good.
What is that? A waffle with waffles on each side, or
no,
what?
you take two of those waffles and you put Eggos. You stick them in the toaster. Then you put butter all over them, and you put jelly in the middle, and you just and the butter would drip out of the sides. It was like come running down your hand. You're like, oh, this is so good. How I didn't weigh like 500 pounds. I very well should have. That and Mountain Dew and like the most disgusting, awful shit you can put in your body.
We worked at Pizza Hut and we would take a 2-liter of Mountain Dew and we would just down one of those on a Friday night when we were working there. Just the
because
whole
back then, if it wasn't like, if it was fat free, it just had sugar. It was like, it was good for you. Like fucking Snackwell's, like eating a million of these, you never get fat.
All of it was sugar. Like I think in my high school lunch, it was like bologna and cheese and like Wonder Bread, sugar, meat, sugar. Then like cool range Doritos, carbs and sugar. And then like a Twinkie, sugar. Wash it down with like a
high
and then like
Kool-Aid.
a Coke.
Kool-Aid.
And I'm like, why am I falling asleep after lunch in math class? Like,
Yeah,
it couldn't be all that
why.
fucking sugar you just drank and ate.
Blood sugar 700.
Yeah, like 800 grams of sugar in a span of like 10 minutes.
Yeah, we got off the rails. But
What we were talking about the soda song.
Anyway,
yeah,
This is a soda
12-ounce epilogue, which was like, oh my God, he's singing about Coke. This is awesome.
Not cocaine?
Not cocaine. No.
no.
12-ounce epilogue, not about beer.
No, it was this song. Here, I'll play a little bit of it.
This is the riff for the entire song.
Yep.
What he enunciates is so awesome.
Yeah.
The horseman. They said that your new generation's pushing up some daisies. I was like, yeah, fuck you, Pepsi.
Yeah.
Because you were a fanboy for soda back then.
That's right.
Yeah, screw you, suicidal tendencies.
Me and
shit, polluting my mind.
I mean, it does taste better, I think, than Pepsi.
Oh, it's for sure better. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Still enjoy it.
Okay,
Coke
guys,
Zero
we're not
every
doing
now and
product. We're not doing product placement, guys.
We're trying to get sponsored.
I don't drink Coke anymore.
But yeah, if Pepsi want us to pay us, we'll say we like you better.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, this podcast is sponsored by Pepsi.
They are the music like soda company. So
All right, guys, you guys are giving me a headache. I'll try these. Little, yellow, different.
Oh.
So do you guys know anything about like this album? I think where they recorded it. Like I think they recorded it in like New York versus.
It was New York
I think New
somewhere.
York and then
Maryland?
San Francisco. I thought.
That's right. Yeah, it was.
That's right, yeah.
two different. That's why they had two producers
instead of here.
Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't have recorded anywhere around here.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's
yeah.
interesting. I don't know the story behind that. Yeah, it's in San Francisco.
None of us know anything about it.
So that was too good of a question.
Razor's Edge Studio in San Francisco, and then also Spa Studio in New York City. The Stephen Hagler stuff was New York City, and the Jonathan Burnside was California.
I don't think you can really tell. It all sounds kind of the same.
Well, like, who is the producer on this? Is it somebody from New York?
No, it's what Eric was saying.
It just says those two. Yeah, it's just Jonathan Burnside and Stephen Hagler. Those two guys.
Producer.
Yeah. So
kind of like Snapcase, actually. Very interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. Yep. Yeah.
Only one drummer though.
Yes. Yeah.
I think How Heavy Speaks is a lot more like what they would morph into.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the one on this album that's the most like where they would go.
Yeah, that opening riff could be on something later for sure.
And he doesn't growl as much on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But then they go right into power chords. Like, that's an interesting thing about them.
They don't really do that much.
Yeah, like that's probably a good thing that, a good example is like that opening riff is more open notes. I mean, not open notes, but just single notes, and not so much power chords.
The wah.
Like they avoided, I wouldn't say they avoid power chords, but they get more into like single note stuff later on and like open chords and stuff like that rather than just straight power chords. So they musically, like I said, their musicianship improved a lot too. They got to more different types of stuff. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I would recommend Blast Tyrant too. If you haven't checked out the entirety of Blast Tyrant, that's a fantastic album. So,
So if you guys were to go, if you go to, like, I just went to Wikipedia, I looked up Clutch just for the hell of it. It labels them as stoner rock. Do you think that's a fair way to label them?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Really?
You
don't?
No.
No, I think of stoner rock as like Queens of the Stone Age or Caius.
Yeah.
Or early
groove
early Queens of the Stone Age.
I mean,
this
Have you
just
guys
rock,
ever listened to Lowrider? There's definitely lots of groove in some of that stoner rock stuff, the early stuff, like
that's true.
Lowrider. I'm trying to think of who else I've listened to.
Who else would there be? Like, I think of Masters of Reality.
What about Mastodon?
The birth of it. Stoner rock.
I mean, is that close?
They're more prog. They're,
Yeah. I don't know. It's a weird thing.
Because
I mean, Clutch definitely has some stuff that's like Space Grass.
Yeah.
That's stoner rock, but
referencing
like, as a whole,
some things. Yeah. I mean, that's the biggest thing about them stylistically is the use of blues and I mean, I just say tempo wise, they just fit more. I could just imagine, smoking a spliff and sitting back, listening to this.
Kind of like, actually, you ever listen to Fu Manchu? I do like.
Yeah, I was going to say them too.
They're very groove oriented as well.
But I feel like
a little heavier.
I feel like that's the thing. I feel like it's got to come like from that Masters of Reality Sabbath phase.
Right. There's got to be some Sabbath in there.
Now,
I agree,
including the band Masters of Reality.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know.
Was it Chris Goss, that kind of whole genre?
There's a kind of a happy vibe to Clutch nowadays. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I think there's
whenever I hear there's
got to be chords, like you were saying. They don't really do chords so much. I think the riff has to be chord based.
They also throw in random historical knowledge, so it's kind of like you get a quiz at the end of the day,
Yeah.
But then
like Hot Bottom Feeder.
Then they'll sing. I was gonna say, then they'll sing a song about teaching you how to make crab cakes. So
right, and I'm like, that's not really. I don't know.
Which is one of their best songs. Just like, the whole song is how to make crab cakes. The lyrics are basically, take ground mustard and then put it with your, lump crab meat, and don't buy it from these guys. You got to get it from this place.
Oh yeah, and they do mention the area because that's a Maryland thing, right? So they mention and they make comments about things in the area that. Like
that's the greatest
old stuff, and
I love that.
That's kind of cool too.
I love that. Yeah.
I feel like it's more in line with like the way Motorhead is. Yeah, it's like heavy, almost thrash, but at the end of the day, it's just rock and roll. I kind of feel like that's what Clutch is.
Yeah, but Motorhead is so much faster and intense than.
I know, but it's just.
It's just sped up blues is really what.
More groove.
Yeah,
more groove
yeah.
I guess
there's
an argument.
Like heavier blues rock, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I just mean the way that they're kind of their own thing. I don't know. It's just hard to say that they're just a stoner rock band.
Well, I'm just throwing that out there because that's what the internet has labeled them. I wouldn't label them that way either. I mean, I think the stoner rock band to me is like maybe like I don't know, like Monster Magnet maybe or like something like that. Like
like when people say Slipknot's new metal. It's like
Caius. Did you guys ever listen to Caius?
Oh, that's supposed to be a stoner rock band. Yeah,
that's for me is a quintessential stoner rock band.
Yeah, that's a little more stoner rock. It's heavy and slow and sludgy, and
it's got that swing like.
Groove,
Sabbath groove. Yeah.
Well, Spotify labeled Snapcase as progressive emo hardcore. So
there you go. That's a lot of stuff.
I mean, I think 2 of those names didn't even exist when.
Exactly. I was thinking that too. I'm like, emo wasn't even a thing in 1992. What are you talking about?
I don't even know Snapcase's discography. I know they're not progressive
or emo.
Or emo.
All right. We should play some more of this album.
Yeah.
Let's see. You guys want to throw out some moments, some of your favorite moments?
I play anything from Bacchanal. Fuck you guys for not liking it. It's an awesome.
I don't dislike
I like it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was the only one that said it's not my favorite song on the album, but now he's like, you all hate that song.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
It's a lot of anger
It's
coming over
escalated
there.
quickly.
Yeah, it's
Come on, motherfucker. Let's go.
There's a lot of this like dissonant chords on this album too. I noticed this weird like what chord? I have no idea what chord that is. It's like oh, there is a moment of this song I do love, which we ripped off too, by the way, an Instinct.
His voice.
I know. I gotta play this part. The Have Mercy.
I mean, to me, the vocals at this point are like almost like a hardcore record.
I was just gonna say that if you could put Daryl in that and with his scream and it'd sound like Snapcase.
Yeah, but the difference though, I mean, I'm sure as they matured over time, like that's got to be punishment for your vocal cords. I mean, to be like, okay,
yeah, he could not sustain that for
one song like that to be like 10 songs of at that level. Like, really, I'm taking it at 11. I'm starting at 11. I mean, where are you going to go from there?
It's not sustainable.
I mean, this is the part that's pretty intense.
Yeah. We kind of ripped that off in Instinct.
I think a lot of bands had that kind of a part.
Yeah.
I appreciate the kick drum there, not matching the riff.
Oh yeah. That's the thing. Like, I was noticing just now the drums on this. Like, he's so much more laid back nowadays than.
Oh yeah.
Like, he's like pounding the shit out of those drums. I mean, it matches the music. You kind of have to, but like, just as like drum wise, you could almost think it was a different drummer if you listen to one of the albums from the last 10 years by them, because it's just so much more. I don't know.
Yeah, put on like DC Sound Attack, and he's doing like cowbells and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
It's nothing like this.
Didn't we cover the next track?
We did. Yeah. Milk of Human Kindness. Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's probably one of the better ones we covered. It's kind of what we sounded like. So.
Yeah, that's a great song. I love that.
Was that one of those? Didn't we each pick a song to cover? And when you guys picked this, remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
I think you picked it, Eric.
Pick this?
No, I think actually maybe Phil did pick this.
I feel like he did
because he was a big fan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot more two guitar track, like 2 parts on this album. They don't really do that much anymore.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't recreate that live, really. I guess Neil, I've seen him play guitar, but I don't think he's really a guitarist.
He wrote Regulator, I think, the whole song.
Oh, okay. So I guess he can play some.
Yeah, he can play. Yeah.
Rats is one of my favorites actually in this album.
Really?
Yeah, I want to play this part of Lucky Human Kind.
Yeah. I wanted to transition into the chorus.
And
Ride's going crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
Great.
Basically using it as a crash ride.
It's harmonics.
Yeah.
Easy, but very effective. So good.
This is so much
groove.
different now than what I think of this band, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's
It's not the same band at all.
No, but it still makes me want to go punch something right now.
yeah, it is very
And then go to sleep.
aggressive.
There is a note. There is a note about the Shogun and Marcus that they stopped playing it for a while live because quote because it incited people to kick the shit out of each other.
It has like a really awesome, very live sound for a recorded studio track. Like it's really intense, which I don't know. For me, like those are the things I really like about music. Something that evokes a response like that.
Yeah. You want to hear Rats, Joe?
Yeah. Just a cool, groovy riff.
Mm-hmm. How many songs have the title Rats? That must be a lot.
This is the second one this year, right? What we've talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a short song. That's basically a whole song. But just like the groove.
Yep.
The drumming's a little bit different there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's another song about an animal, Earthworm. I don't have a lot to say about it though.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Airline 13 is definitely the one on this album. It's like,
that is the worst song. Probably,
yeah, it is. It
it's
drags.
so slow, and that slowness might fit the the later stuff, but it doesn't suck. But it's just
Well, the way he sings it too, or whatever you call it, it's weird.
It's kind of droning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's been tranquilized or something.
Yeah.
But track 10 is really good.
Oh yeah, don't hate me just because I'm beautiful.
Yeah, let's play a little bit of that.
Oh, we didn't get to the lyrics and How Happy Speaks too. We should probably go back to those.
Yeah. It's another tagline from Flavor Country or whatever.
Yeah.
Come to
Yeah.
It's Marlboro, right?
Yeah. I think yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, that whole master of the metaphor, all that line and how happy speaks. I just think it's really cool. And then the achy breaky eyeball dance. That's fucking badass at that heavy part.
Let me see if I can find that.
song's really fun to play.
Mm-hmm.
They go through this once and it's coming up. Yeah, they repeat the riff.
Slide. That's like his vocals are so. I'm not death metal, but it's like so growly. It's like
really aggressive.
Yeah.
Well, then Effigy, he's fucking pissed off too.
Oh yeah, I should play that. Yeah, the end of
that
Effigy.
319.
Yeah, I had the same note. Yeah. His voice cracks too.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna fade that out because
it's so good.
Yeah. All right. Well, what do we think?
I like
Should we grade this? Should we grade this thing?
I like it.
I'm gonna give it an A.
I'm
gonna do it now.
Yeah.
A.
Yeah. A. Yeah, I'll go A as well.
And it holds up. Still fucking good album. Great album.
Mm-hmm. Yep. A plus, but A. Yeah.
A pluses are coming.
Yeah. I mean, this it's gonna be a lot of A pluses for this band. This one is close to it, but
yeah. What'd you give
I
it?
gave it a B plus. B plus.
Okay.
Yeah. I would be in that camp as well because I don't have the history. So just listening to it and how much I liked it, I would give it, say, solid B plus.
Cool.
I'm an easy grader. I'm going A. Sorry.
Don't overthink it, right?
There's no thinking going on.
I'm trying not to
pluses and minuses
to what they.
up, but
it's okay. I'm trying not to compare it to what they become, but it's really hard with this band.
But I listen to the shit,
especially this
I listen to the shit out of this album.
Yeah, but even until like what they become, like my visceral reaction to some of the songs is like I want to put my hand through a car windshield. So like, you got to get an A for that. I mean, that's some good effort there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Like Debbie Gibson probably doesn't give you that kind of.
You might be surprised, but it might.
Oh, okay.
I mean, maybe for a different
reason.
Yeah.
I want to go smash my head through a windshield when I hear that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well. Thank you very much for hanging out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good hanging with you.
It's good talking to you.
It's nice to have a bass player on the show for once.
We have
3.
Oh yeah, there's 3. Okay, never mind.
Well,
it's nice to be it's nice that we're like
the majority
more than everyone else. Yeah.
You are definitely the majority on this one.
Low end, for sure.
Yeah.
We don't get drummers on this show. That's what we don't get.
Nah.
Chris is probably
Chris has been on.
Chris has been on a lot.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Any
Chris,
Maiden, he's there.
He's the only one. How many guitar players and bass players have we gotten?
Aftab is a drummer.
10.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
So
Well,
2.
get some of your drummer friends, Tim. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
I don't have any drummer friends. I don't have any friends.
You guys are all my friends. That's it.
So for Rob and for Greg and for Tim and for Keith, for Joe, I'm Eric. Say
thank you. Good fucking night. Energy, aggression, power. To sum it up, it's a vulgar display of power.
Sometimes I think you drink just a little too much blood.
I'm sorry, I'm going to PA. Bloodaholics Anonymous.
Cut out.
Cutting it up big time.
They are miserable slaves of Satan.
Some count's recording this.